Hello, everyone. Yeah, good evening, beautiful viewers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Every Voice Matters, an anchor program of the Path Corner Project, which strives to enlighten youths all over the continent of Africa and to empower them in the knowledge and the awareness and the roles that youths need to play to ensure that we have a continent that works. I am your host for today. Mary Adeteju Alabi is my name. And the co-host, my lovely friend and colleague, Gideon Oguniye, is also on the program today. Hello, Gideon, and welcome to this exciting episode of Every Voice Matters. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, yeah. And we are welcoming all our audience. Please feel free to drop your comments on our comments in our comment section for today's program, and feel free to reach out to us through our email to contribute to this conversation. And I hope that you have an exciting session today.
Yeah, we will, by God's grace. And like our viewers have heard, we are co-hosting this program together to make sure that we bring you very, very important topics that have to do with building our continent, the African continent, to ensure that youths realize their roles, the roles that we need to play to ensure that this continent really works and really gets to where it should be. So as I'm co-hosting today with my friend and colleague Gideon, today I have questions for you. Just like you put me on the hot seat last week and I was able to
I'm ready.
Answered. So today it's my turn to ask you the questions. And viewers from last week that we said, the same topic is what we are dealing with today. Building democracy that works for everyone in Africa is the topic we're still talking about today. We're looking at different angles, different opinions, and different things to make sure that this discussion is held in a very rich and a very impactful way. So today, I have just a few questions for you, Gideon, and I know that with your opinion and mine rubbed together on this forum, we'll be able to enlighten more people today. And like we said, more comments are going to come in on this program, and then we can share our opinions and make sure that we come to a very good and impactful recommendation that can be used by the leaders of our country. First and foremost, is this research. Several studies and researches are actually ongoing, and some are already concluded by reputable schools and global organizations with focus on non-democratic continents and countries of the world. We have countries such as the UAE and China, which some have already, they've been found to be among the developed, thriving, and successful countries of the world, despite the fact that they are non-democratic. Now, as of today, many have actually accused these countries of being defaulters when it comes to human rights issues, like the communist China that we all know, that sometimes people try to say, okay, there are some restraints when it comes to human rights issues in places like China and the UAE. Yet, as of today, they are considered to be part of the developed nations of the world. So people have come up with different school of thoughts. And I would like to ask you today, Gideon, this question has really been on my heart. Is there a timing for democracy? Or should I put it this way, the usual trend that goes online when youths are discussing this kind of topic, they will say, is Africa ripe for democracy? Can you just give us something?
That's a very good question. And I think there's a general consensus in African countries about the adoption of democracy. I think generally African people have accepted democracy as a system of government, because the strength of democracy over other types of regime is grounded on political equality, and which is what people desire: individual liberty, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and people having the ability to influence the political agenda of their countries, having their voice fed into the wider decision-making processes of their country. So these are the reasons why it appears that Africa have come to embrace democracy. However, the question is democracy working as expected in Africa? The answer is no. The democracy in Africa has not delivered expected results in terms of freedom of the citizens, the rights of the citizens, freedom of expression, in terms of provisions of basic amenities, security of lives and properties of the people. So democracy has not delivered. This is because democracy is not working. But it's not a question of whether the time is right for democracy or not. It's a question of democracy not working as expected, not delivering the expected results that people want. People want a secured society. They want their properties to be secured. They want their freedom of speech. They want to be able to express themselves. They want to be able to influence the political agenda of their country. They want to be able to choose their leaders at the polls and also reject their leaders. So, but we've seen that there are still abuses, even though we say we are practicing democracy, there are still abuses, police brutality, people's human rights abuses, and all of that. And also there's endemic corruption, political corruption that has made democracy not work over the years in Africa. You have state capture. Private individuals have substituted their personal interest by private interest for the common goal, for the common interest, and they've sort of taken over the political space, sponsoring of candidates that will be loyal to them, that will give them return, that will give them contracts. We've seen conflict of interest, elected politicians awarding contracts to business that they have business interest in, or the business that they have that are major stakeholders. So these are the abuses that we've seen. But what I know is that there's general consensus about the adoption of democracy in Africa. And that is evident in the way African people have come together, united to sack military regimes and to demand for democracy. Which we can see in Nigeria, you can see in South Africa, you can see in Kenya, you can see in Uganda, and so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Just for clarity, so are we saying that for the kind of democracy that we run in Africa, yes, it seems that, yes, many of the countries have come together to sack the military regimes and to say, okay, we want democracy. Are we actually saying that it's not about the timing of the introduction of the democracy? Because many are saying, oh, maybe we would have just had maybe a little authoritarian regime, maybe a forerunner, maybe somebody that is a little bit hard that can help us with the foundation. Then from there, some are saying that like China now that they have very strong, communist leaders that have helped them to put the development they need in place, that when they transit, that some are even saying they will transit into democracy later, that when they transit, that it will be easier for the people to run on the laid down foundation that they already have. Are we saying that if Africa had waited maybe for about 10 more years, or maybe a decade more, or maybe 20 more years to put itself together, change the mindset of the people, maybe if we had waited before introducing that democracy, are we saying that that wouldn't have made any difference?
No, no, it wouldn't have made any difference because we've had our fair share of the military regimes in all African countries, and I can use Nigeria as a case study. And we know what happened with military regimes. Certain voices are shut down. The freedom fighters are arrested, executed, prosecuted. People are prosecuted for just demanding for their rights. And we've seen high level of corruption that come with military regimes. We've seen high level of impunity. And we've seen that is, we've assessed this system, and we've seen that this is not the system we want. We want democracy. We want a system that gives us the opportunity to choose our leaders, that gives us the opportunity to reject the leaders that we don't want, that gives us the opportunity to push our views into the decision-making processes of government. So we've tested democracy and we've come to accept democracy. And I think there's a general consensus on the adoption of democracy. Is not a question of whether the time is right or not. However, the democracy is not working. It's not generating the results that we expect. And I think we must do something about it. And that is one of the reasons why we are having this kind of political debate, so that we can make recommendations to government, so that we can educate young people on what their roles should be in democratic institutions.
Thank you so much, Gideon. I really, really appreciate that fact. Like you rightly said, the awareness is out there. People are really like, yes, we want a government that we can say, okay, we have a part in it. We don't want a government that would just do everything for us, make all the decisions without our input. So we can actually say, yes, there's a consensus on that. The only thing is just how to make it work for the African continent, which is not just about the timing, but the will and, that's issue about coming together and making this really work. I really appreciate that input from you. There's another question that has also been coming to me really, really strong in my mind. And this one is even really trending now on social media platforms, in youth platforms, different social media groups coming up. And, also it's also in the news that there's been so many discussions about the way Nigeria has been, about the way the democracy has been in our country. And now it's as if people are really, some people can't take it anymore. Some tribes are already coming out and saying that maybe we should have a secession. Maybe we should have this country split up into what they regard as governable smaller units, that can be governed, and then all the different tribes can be heard. It won't be like it's just one major tribe or one major group of politicians that are making all the decisions for the country. So it seems as if the time we are in now is a time when people really doesn't seem to be able to take it anymore. People are calling out for secession, resource control, decentralization of powers. And some have even come up with templates such as the United Kingdom, the UAE that we also referenced today as, they developed climes, where people say that maybe what has worked for them is the fact that they have smaller states or regions or whatever you choose to call it, and they are now called the United States of this, country, or like the UK, that they have different countries and they have, a kind of center where these countries are independent, yet they're able to come together to work as a United Kingdom or a United States. People are saying that, can't we have that done in Nigeria? I want to know your thoughts about this. Will this work for Nigeria and for Africa?
Okay, so let me start by addressing the causes of secession agitations, separatist agitations in Nigeria, and use Nigeria as a case study. There are so many dimensions to it. You have the political dimension. For instance, if you look at in Nigeria, if you look at the last presidential election in 2019, you would see that in the southeast region of the country, the current President Muhammadu Buhari, did not win any state. So maybe that is why the agitation started from there, from the southeast. Maybe the people doesn't like the president, but that is not even the case. That is just by the way. I don't want to go deep into the political angle of this problem. I want us to look at the security angle. The security angle. Now, a successful state is one that has the monopoly of the legitimate use of force in any country. A successful state is the only one that have the monopoly of the legitimate use of force. Can we say that is the same in Nigeria today? So in Nigeria today, you have so many non-governmental armed forces that are using force, that are attacking communities, ambushing state governors. We had a state governor, Borno state governor, ambushed 3 times, not just once, not twice, 3 times, and and was attacked, and the governor could barely survive the attack. We had the one of Benue State. We have so many armed groups moving from one place to the other in the country. I remember that Abubakar, one of the former head of states, military head of states in Nigeria, Abubakar Salam, said that we have more than 6 million people with more than 6 million arms, weapons in Nigeria in the hands of non-state actors, in the hands of violent armed groups that are not governmental. But some people have even come out to say that is an understatement, that we have more than 6 million people. And we've seen evidence of this. We've seen Fulani herdsmen carrying AK-47, AK-45. We've seen evidence of violence across all the states. So when you have a state, a Nigerian state that has lost the monopoly of the use of force, people have the right to call for secession. And that is recognized by the United Nations. I think they call it, what do they call it? Remedial right to secede. Remedial right to secede. So people have the right to call for secession because the primary assignment of government is security of lives and properties of the people. So if the people feel that the state cannot guarantee their security, and they think that a group of people, in the case of Nigeria, ethnic nationalities, if they think that they can organize the security of their people by themselves and then do it better than the Nigerian states, then they have the right to secession. Also, I mentioned legitimate in my definition of a successful state. So legitimate means that you use force in a legitimate way. So if the state use force in an illegitimate way, they also lose some degree of legitimacy to use force. And that is also happening in Nigeria. You have cases of police brutality, government forces brutalizing the citizens. You have cases of illegitimate use of force, government going after secessionists with maximum force. Because I remember that Amnesty International accused Nigerian government of extrajudicial killings of about 150 pro-Biafran agitations. And we saw the video where these people were not carrying arms. I mean, the pro-Biafran agitators, they were not carrying arms. They were assembled in a location, singing, protesting. And we've seen a video of Nigerian military forces shooting them at close range and killing a number of people. So we've seen several cases of illegitimate use of force in Nigeria, like what we had with NSAS protests, where military open live bullets on protesters, although that is still controversial whether people died or not. But the fact that the military opened live bullets was not was very clear. So state loses legitimacy. So when you have that kind of situation, then people can call for secession. But secession is not the only call in Nigeria. We have some people calling for restructuring, that there is a problem with the government structure in Nigeria, and we should try to restructure the government so that the federating units can have some level of power, some level of control, some level of control over their security, over the distribution of resources, over distribution of government revenues, which nobody is listening to. So the problem right now is not the call for restructuring or the call for secession. The problem right now is the way the government have been responding to this cause. So what is the approach? The usual approach, the typical approach of Nigerian government has been that they labeled the people calling for the separatist agitators, their leaders, they label them as troublemakers. They send security forces after them, and they send security forces after agitations to quell it in a very violent way, and that has not helped. That has pushed organizations like Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, into the underground, which is more dangerous than how they were before government used that approach. When government used that approach, I never see them carrying arms. I just see them, maybe they were using a lot of vulgar language, but I never see them carrying arms, right? But now you cannot predict them again because now they've moved underground, so you don't even know what is going on again with them. And we've seen resurgence of groups like ESN, Eastern Security Network, which was not formalized according to any law, but that is there. So these are the danger with the government approach. And I think why we are having this kind of debate is to come up with suggestions. I think we need to talk, and that is what we've been doing in Nigeria. The government saying the separatist agitators are troublemakers. Anybody that sympathizes with them are opposition, are from the opposition, and they don't want to discuss anything. So we need to discuss. Dialogue is the first option. Why is Nigerian state not engaging its citizens? In the southeast, where these agitations are predominant, not everybody from southeast is a member of IPOB or a member of any separatist group. So those ones, why is government not engaging them? Even the members of this, why is government not engaging them? Since we have this escalation of security threats to Nigerian states, bombings, mutiny, kidnappings all over the country, why is Nigerian state not engaging people across board? Town hall meetings, security forces coming together, bringing people on board in terms of getting them to give input into their work, not to review operational tactics or to review their modus operandi or how they go about their work, but in terms of getting information, getting intelligence. So if the citizens are not helping the government in addressing security concerns, I see Nigeria going towards the path of what happened in Sudan or what happened in Somalia, because we are not addressing the issue. We are just looking at the symptoms. But what are the causes of this issue? Why are people feeling agitated? So security is the major thing, and I think the government has to be pragmatic. They have to bring everybody on board. They have to unite the country. They have to stop the approach they are using, which is not giving the desired results, and try to bring people on board and let us discuss these issues. Let us come up with solutions. I was watching a video and I saw a video of a traditional ruler in Oyo State, Nigeria. The Alaafin of Oyo.
Okay.
So he said that they contributed money among themselves, the traditional rulers. They get some people, local vigilantes. They entered the bush, arrested some herdsmen that were kidnapping people and attacking people, collecting ransom, handed over them to the security forces, and the security forces let all of them go. Nobody was prosecuted. So that shows that there is no synergy between the security forces and local authorities, between the communities. There is no collaboration. There is no trust. So public trust has even eroded in Nigerian state and in security forces. So that is why you have all these agitations, and I think they will continue until when we start doing the things in the right way, addressing the issues, talking to the people, engaging the citizens, bringing them on board, and making sure that when people feel safe and secured, you would see that the same parties that this separatist group have will reduce. So I think that is that is the way forward, and I hope the Nigerian government will look towards this direction before we end up with a civil war or with ethnic war that it will be difficult to control.
So. Yeah, I really hope so. And I think you really touched on very, very important topics today. It's the rights of the people to, speak out when they are not having their expectations met. So it's not the problem is not the issue, it's not the people speaking out, but the problem has been the approach that the current administration or the current government system has been using. And though we've really run out of time today, but I really enjoyed this session, and I think you've really touched on very important points today, that we, the people, should continue to speak up. When people are not getting the expectations met, they can speak up, actually. And that's one of the beauties of democracy as we have it. The government should strive to ensure that they listen to these voices. Like you said, they should ensure they talk to each of these parties, these people who they believe are, coming up with different sections, different groups. They should bring them on board, try to engage them, listen to the things they have to say. And from then, with the right approach, we can really know what is good and the way forward for this democracy. Gideon, I want to appreciate you. They have really enjoyed this session. It's been wonderful really having this discussion with you. And I trust that the viewers have also been able to, gain one or two things today. Like we rightly said on the program, every voice matters, where your voice matters. So we are trying to invite every one of us listening to this program. If you would like to lend your voice to this issue, especially on this topic, building a democracy that works for everyone in Africa, you can send us a message. You can send us a mail on info@factcorner.org, info@factcorner.org. So if you want to be a guest on this program, you can send us a message on this email address. And also you can visit our social media platforms, Facts Corner on YouTube Live, also Facts Corner on Facebook. You get our videos there and you see all the previous episodes of this program. So, wow, we've run out of time today. We'll also come up with another very exciting angle to this topic next week. So we want to say to viewers out there, stay tuned to us next week, and we'll meet each other again with very, very important guests that will be on the program with us. So on this note, we want to say, have a great weekend. Thank you so much, Gideon, for your input.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And next week again, we'll meet, hopefully with a guest that will come to discuss another angle to this political debates that we are having. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Yeah, bye.